Welcome back to Yoki's Kitchen. How are y'all doing today? I am fine. Thank you so much for asking. So today we are going to have us a loaded baked potato. This baked potato will be loaded with seafood. We're going to have lobster, we're going to have shrimp, we are going to have some crab meat. We're also going to have some andouille sausage in there as well. So it's going to be just a bomb of flavors in the mouth. So let me show y'all. Now I have been showing y'all in previous recipes how to make a simple Alfredo sauce. You can either, turn it up a notch if you want to add some heat, some Creole seasoning to just give it a little pizzazz or make it your own. So we're pretty much going to use that same base to start or to create our creamy Cajun loaded baked potato, seafood. So let's talk about the seasonings real quick. Nothing too busy, pretty simple. We got black pepper, we got Tony Saturates, we have cayenne pepper, we have some oregano, we have some sage, we have some smoked paprika, we have onion powder, garlic powder, we have some salt, and we have some olive oil. Now, we also have an Italian blend. You can choose whatever cheese it is that you want, but we are going to use that Parmesan. This is Parmesan, Asiago, and Romano cheese all in one. You're also going to need some heavy cream, not too much, just a splash, some butter, lump crab meat, sour cream of your choice. Now, as I was saying, oh, of course, the star, which is your baked potato. If you cannot find baking potatoes, which would be the larger potatoes, you can just, get the biggest potatoes you can find at the grocery store. So right here we have some lobsters. These are tiny lobsters. They almost look like large prongs. We have some shrimp. I have cut up those shrimp maybe in fours. So I have curled it into a C and I have cut them in fours. I also did the same thing with the lobster. I, cut the tail up in bite-sized pieces. And that andouille sausage, I cut it up into small cubes, as you can see right here. It is very fine. I do not want the sausage to really be the star in this meal, but the sausage is going to be that base of that flavor so that we can start building those flavors that I tell you about all the time. Now I do have a quarter of a red bell pepper, a quarter of a green bell pepper. I have a little bit more than a quarter of the onion, and I have about 7 garlic cloves. Again, very simple, nothing too busy, but before we go any further, we have to get these potatoes in the oven. So what I am going to do is I am going to score this potato so that when we go ahead and put this in the oven, it'll pretty much let out the steam, and I'm gonna poke it with with a fork. Also, we're gonna coat it with some olive oil and add some salt because they have been washed very well so you can eat the skin if you choose. So let's get that baking sheet and I'll show you. Now, with a fork, you are just going to poke your potato just to relieve some of that steam on it. Juk it up. Oy. So just kind of don't go too crazy. You don't have to, at least, but yeah. So do the same thing for all. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a knife and I'm gonna score the potato so that when it is done, I'll have almost like a dotted line so that I can kind of like peel it open. So I have my oven preheated or getting heated at 375. We are gonna let this go for 1 hour. So this is gonna be the longest part of this process. And back to the potatoes. See how I got the larger potatoes? They are tons of different types of potatoes on the market. You can choose the potato that you like, but if you're gonna stuff the potato, you're gonna need a potato that has, some good size to it so that you can actually work with it. So these are just some baking potatoes, and that is what we are using. So let me just make my little line on my potatoes so I can come back and dig those out. Once you have your potatoes nicely poked, you are well, poked enough, you are going to then cover them with some olive oil. We want the skin to become, you know, just a little, you don't want it to be soggy, so I want it to become just a little crispy. Or it won't be crispy per se, like a French fry, but this is just a coating so I can get that salt to stick as well while they are cooking. So let's get these coated nicely, like so. And I am going to use my other hand, and we are going to salt them. So I have some coarse pink salt, and we're just gonna dust the salt on both sides. This is nothing fancy. Don't, see, this one's not covered. Just make sure your potatoes are covered with oil. Nicely, okay. And we're gonna put salt on the other side. And they will go in the oven just like this, 375 for 1 hour. So let's start seasoning our seafood for our stuffing, is it? Yes, because we're gonna stuff this potato. We are going to start off with some onion powder. Now you can season this pretty generously because this is also going to help season that base, that nice flavor in that cream sauce that we are going to put this in. Oh, I'm sorry. So that was onion powder, garlic powder. That was some Tony Saturates. Excuse me. We are gonna go in with some smoked paprika. Woo! If you ain't sneezing or clearing your throat, it ain't seasoned. All right, we got some sage. And you can, you know, once you get that base done, and you just taste it and make sure that you don't need anything else. The oregano, I'm not gonna put in. I'm gonna put the oregano in with our vegetables, and I am gonna put a little bit of cayenne for heat. We are just gonna give that a little spin. And we're gonna let that sit, and you obviously heard my timer letting me know that our potatoes are ready. Now, I did leave a few of the shrimp whole. You can do that by choice. You don't have to, but it's just for presentation when you are actually building that potato, to have that, you know, extra little shrimp up there at the top. Okay, so in this bowl we have our lobster and our shrimp. Our crab meat, I am not going to season. I am just going to add that to the sauce because I don't want to manipulate that too much. I don't want to break that down too much to where it's, you know, you really can't find it in that sauce. Okay, we're going to let this sit, and we are going to head over to the cast iron skillet, and we are going to brown our sausage. To the skillet, we are just going to add just a little bit of olive oil to prevent any sticking. Just a touch. And I am going to drop in that andouille sausage. This is probably about a link, less than 2 links, but I have it cut up into small bite-sized pieces. And we are going to let this brown so we can build that flavor for our vegetables. Now, you don't have to use sausage. Some people use bacon. Some people use whatever it is that you want to use. But like I said, this is a flavor building situation. So this is why I chose the sausage. I didn't want to use bacon, which I could have, but just something different. And again, if you don't like it, if you want to choose chicken sausage, turkey sausage, whatever that is, you're more than welcome to try that or use that. But in my case, or in this case, we are using that andouille sausage. And we're going to give that a moment to brown. And then we are going to go in with our vegetables. That sausage is coming along very nicely, as you can see. Now, depending on how crispy you want it, you just let it go a little bit longer. But I am going to stop here and just add in my vegetables. Now, we have that onion, we have red pepper, and we have green pepper. I'm going to put in my garlic last because I do not want my garlic to burn. Now we're going to start incorporating all of these flavors in these vegetables. You can choose to cut your vegetables differently, but I want to see my vegetables when I put that in this baked potato. So we're going to give this a few more minutes just to get settled until they get kind of translucent. So we are going to let these go for a couple minutes and give that some time. As you can see here, the vegetables has really absorbed the olive oil that we had in the pan. So before I add my garlic, I am going to add a half a stick of butter. Just to get that all melted down and pick up the flavors that might have been left behind in this skillet. Now that, if you've noticed our onion especially are quite translucent, I am going to add my garlic. And I am going to add my oregano. The reason why I add my my herbs at a later time is because I don't want them to burn. So I add the herbs the last moment, just so they can actually cook down and not burn during that cooking process with the vegetables. Okay. Also going to add just a little bit of salt. That was about 2 pinches of salt. Right before we add in our seafood. Okay, this is ready. Now, I am just going to create a little crater in here so that I can continue to have the flavors from the vegetables, like so. And I am going to drop that seafood right into the center of this skillet, which is the shrimp and the lobster. The crab meat will go in last. I am going to crowd the pan because I want all of anything that renders off of this shrimp and lobster is welcome. Okay, as you can see, the vegetables have kind of taken a time out because they are on the perimeter of the frying pan. So we're going to get this cooked down, and we're going to give it a flip, and then we're going to combine everything together. Everything is looking and smelling great. So I am going to give this seafood a flip so we can cook that on the other side. And we will bring incorporate everything together. We don't want to overcook the shrimp, so make sure you watch that. Now let's get everything incorporated. Our sausage, our onions, our bell peppers, all those flavors.
Let me get that piece I fell on the stove.
How it tastes? Looks good. Okay. So we are coming along just fine. And we are going to get ready for our next step. Well, what about the crab? We are going to get that last. Because like I said, lump crab meat is a very delicate, it's very delicate. So if I put that in here now and I stir this up and I'm stirring, I'm just going to break that up to the point to where you're not even going to notice it in your sauce. So the goal is to keep it as whole as possible so that you can, actually get some nice flavors out of that. Or a nice texture. Okay. This is how it looks. Oh, I am just flinging stuff everywhere. At this point, we are going to add in our heavy cream. We have a pint of heavy cream here. Damn, I always break this thing. No worries. Figure it out. And we are going to add our heavy cream to our seafood. Trash. We're going to give this a stir. We're going to let this come up to a boil before I add my cheese, because I want that cream to thicken up just a bit before we do so. So you're just going to let that sit for a moment. At this point, you can probably start tasting. See if you need to add anything else, whether it's a little more salt, a little more pepper, Creole seasoning, whatever it is. Start making your adjustments at this point, because you're, on the last run, or the last leg, I should say. Now that it's nice and thick, come take a look. It has thickened up nicely. No adjustments were needed, so I didn't have to add anything else. But if you did, it's perfectly okay. Season to your liking. we are going to add 4 ounces of our Italian blend cheese. Now you can use any cheese that you like. Just add that cheese in there, and this is going to complete that thickening portion of this. You may not have a cheese pull, but it'll be nice and thick. Okay, then at this point, we are going to let it cool. Not cool, but we are going to turn the stove down to low. And we are going to let that cheese do what it's going to do. And we are going to check on our, I'll take our potatoes out. I left them in just a little bit longer. The potatoes were a little thicker, so it took a little bit more time. So you can judge, depending on your oven, everybody's oven is different, would determine how long those potatoes need to be in there. We have taken our beautiful potatoes out of the oven. So they are still nice and hot. So I'm gonna give them a second to kind of cool so that I can handle that potato. So while we are waiting, I am going to fold in my crab meat. You can turn that all the way off now. And this is what I have. I have 8 ounces of lump crab meat. And we are going to fold this in our seafood combo. Now the crab meat is going to absorb a lot of these flavors, so you don't have to worry about, oh, well, you didn't season that. Crab is a very delicate protein, and it will absorb all of those flavors, so you do not have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about that. See, as you can see, it's not broken up. You can still see the crab meat very pronounced. Okay, I'm not going to mess it up or mess with it anymore. We're going to leave that like that. Give that a chance to thicken up, and we are going to work on our baked potato. Let me get this up. Okay, so let's go over to our potato station. So you are going to choose the potato of your choice. I like this one, so we are going to get this one. And what you're going to do is, what I like to do is actually scoop out I don't scoop it out to say that I'm not going to use it or I'm not going to eat it, but I scoop it out to actually season it. Because nobody wants a potato that has no flavor. We know that our skin is seasoned, but our potato, ouch, that is hot, is not. So we are going to dig, ow, that is hot, that out, as much or as little as you choose, because I am going to put some salt and pepper and some sour cream on that filling, or my potato filling. Refrain from making a mess. Okay, so now, as you can see here, we pretty much have our boat, our shell, for us to fill that back up. So this is our potato. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now this step, you don't have to do it, but I like to do it because we're eating baked potato. We're not eating skin and seafood. All right, I am going to get a little bit of sour cream, just a dollop. And I am going to incorporate that in my mash, like so. Now I'm going to get some of this and I am going to put back into my potato. Man, that thing's hot. My plate don't even look good no more. I made such a mess. But as y'all know, this is Yoki's kitchen, not the perfect kitchen. So get that nicely. Create your bowl with your potato that you've mashed. Okay, you can choose to put it all back in or just put in as much as you feel like you're gonna eat. Okay, so now we have our boat for our filling. As you can see, our boat is patiently waiting for our filling. And look at this. We're going to fill our baked potato with this goodness. Here's our whole shrimp. And let's just let this run off the side. Look at that. Oh, I should have had some green onion for garnish or something. How yum does that look? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a creamy, cheesy, seafood, loaded baked potato with crab, lobster, shrimp, andouille sausage, and just a bursting amount of flavors in this dish. See, now we have some potato, we have some crab, some lobster. Let's take a bite. I know it's screaming hot. Wow. That sausage took it to a whole nother level. I will not be using bacon anymore. That is great. Boy, that's good. Yoke gang, listen. Quick, easy, and your family is gonna love it. If you don't want seafood, you can add chicken, you can do steak, beef, whatever it is that you want to replace it with, you're more than welcome to replace it. If you want to use the same base, you're more than welcome to use the same base. But listen, this is on another level. Hey, and it's not because I cooked it, because it's good. Listen, Yoke gang. First of all, I want to thank everybody for taking the time out and actually watching the video. I'm trying to swallow. And if you have not yet checked out www.yokegang.com, make sure that you do pick up a t-shirt or a patch. It helps the channel, support the channel. Thank you guys so much. Y'all already know I love y'all for life. I got to get this down.